Good evening. So, I'm just gonna take a tiny video here. You know, when you download a collection of STL files, sometimes you get it in like this, and you can see that they are sort of grouped like this. And the reason for that is because they are saved as a collection of STL files. So this one is saved as one group, and this one is saved as one group, and this as one group. Now, I'm using Orca Slicer. And in Orca Slicer, if you have one object that is on top of another one, then you can sort of have it fit that model. So let me see if I can find an example. Just gonna make a new here. I have a different video where I tell you how you can perfectly align things, but that only works in so in that video I explained how you can easily perfectly align objects when you import them by clicking add, and then you can find let me see if I can find it. So here I'm just gonna show you an example. Let me see, it's been a while since I opened this model. Let's say the bottom. Let's say if I load this one. So this is a section. And let's say I want to add a different object that is sort of placed at a certain height. And then you can right click and you can select, at least in Orca Slicer you can. In Bambu Studio it's a little bit different. You cannot do that because it doesn't align it properly. Load, and then I can load this one, and you can see it has put it into the section exactly where I designed it to be in Fusion. So if I change the color of that one to, let's say, black, you can see that it is actually aligned perfectly in that spot. Now, when you import it like this, you import it as two parts, and because they had the same orientation in the 3D space, when I exported them, they automatically get placed in the correct position. But if I do that in Studio the same way, everything gets placed on the ground, even if I use it as a part. Now, if I also notice here in the overview that it says one object. If I go here and I select add part, load, and then I select the other part I had, then that part will sort of place itself under that object as part of that group again. That's why it's placed there. Now, if I add it as another object here and just select open, it places itself at the bottom on the build plate. Now, to explain the difference on this one, imagine that this one is a collection of groups like the other one I showed you, but in this case all of them are laying on the build plate themselves. But if you have them grouped like this, you cannot exclude them when you print. Like you can, like in this case, I can only go and I can say, okay, I want to exclude that whole group. So how would you go about to, let's just say I want to just print one of these, but I would just want to exclude the rest. Well, normally you could go and you could select split to parts, but then you only get them sub from that thingy. So if I go here and I select split to parts, then everything is getting under the assembly number 2. So it's still a group because I cannot disable these singularly. But if you revert that change and instead you go select split to objects, that would normally also in Orca Slicer just place everything on the build plate, but with a big difference. They can individually be selected and disabled from being printed. So in this case, I went in and I said, okay, I don't want to print this, I don't want to print this, and I don't want to print this. And those are the ones that now are listed as objects, because I didn't select them as parts, I selected them as objects. So essentially is that you can sort of ungroup a collection like this, and so you can see on the left when I select them, it selects the group. So take the STL file there and I take split to objects, and then I get a selection of new ones, and it removes the STL file I had as a group. And then I can just say, okay, I don't want to print this one, I don't want to print this, and I don't want to print that. And then I go and say, okay, I don't want to print those, and then they become sort of ghosted. Same thing here, I don't want to print that. Actually, I think I still have that, so I'll just negative that part, but I'll just take it as an example here. See, now you got a lot here. So, and you can also, if I'm not mistaken, you can also go and you can say, okay, mark them all and untick printable. So now they are ghosted. So basically this one and this one are now set as objects separately, and if I slice the plate, I only print those. So that is the main difference of importing and using the split to objects versus the split to parts. Now I am a big fan of the split to parts in Orca Slicer because I have a lot of objects that I design so they fit into each other, and then I usually have a bottom object and then I add all the other parts to that specific object as a part, and then they become a grouped selection of parts, and I can print them with the perfect alignment just like I designed them. Now I try to do that in Bambu Studio, and it's one of the features that doesn't work properly in Bambu Studio compared to in Orca Slicer. So I just wanted to show you that how you can how the different split to objects versus split to groups work in Orca Slicer, and you can do that. The split you can do in Studio as well, but the perfect alignment of parts to each other, as far as I know, you cannot do that in Studio. Yeah, thanks for watching, and please like and sub if you like my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.